Hey YouTube, Modkip here. I thought I'd put out a Season of Defiance breakdown video, or whatever you'd call this. Final thoughts, wrap-up, complaints. I thought I'd take a more in-depth look at what Season of Defiance brought to the table, and by extension Lightfall, seeing as they both released together. The first minute or so is just going to be the armors released this season with the Season Pass and the seasonal activity. The gold on white with the red accents is the Season Pass armor, and I'm not exactly a fan of it. Kind of looks really bad. The only one that I consider worth the money or grind was the Hunter set. On the other hand, the seasonal activity armor is amazing. It looks like a futuristic gothic set. The Warlock set in particular looks like a priest from a dark future. If anything, the Season Pass was worth it just for the seasonal activity stuff, even if you really only care about fashion. The Season Pass also brought an exotic that I really love using when I'm playing Stasis, the Verglas Curve. With Hail Barrage, it's his exotic trait. What it does is the final blows grant up to 5 stacks of Hail Barrage, which, when you have a stack, the next hit fire will fire all available stacks in a single volley. If any of the arrows hit enemies, they will become frozen, and the arrows that don't hit enemies turn into stasis crystals. The catalyst makes the weapon draw faster after freezing a target. I haven't tested it, but I believe this should work with Oathkeeper's buff to draw speed, making it so the Verglas will fire more like a lightweight rather than a precision. Why I think this bow is so great, and why I like it way more than the Stasis Pistol Cryosthesia, is because the consistent freezes and Stasis Crystal formation, as well as allowing easy crystal shatters, allows me to play a Stasis Crystal build on Warlock. Warlock's funnily enough are the best at slowing enemies with stasis, Osmiomancy and Stacy turrets everywhere, paired with Deliverance, the stasis fusion from Val the Disciple, that can get Chill Clip and Demolitionist. You get a really nasty crowd clear build. I personally wasn't a fan, as in higher tier content, this is great, but it lacks survivability as much as I lack skill. Being able to summon a wall of stasis crystals on command is amazing, both for utility and crowd clear, as Shatter is brutal on most enemies. I don't have to give up survivability either to crowd clear anymore, and that alone makes this weapon amazing. I put out a video showcasing Verglas Curve previously, but I was able to make a better hybrid build that gave me Radiant on command, damage resist, and CC. I run Verglas Curve for CC and survivability, as I'll run a fragment that grants resist when standing near crystals or frozen targets, Rain of Fire so that I can grant myself Radiant, and Royal Executioner, the Season of Defiance Solar Fusion Rifle I did a video on previously. That is quite possibly one of the best PvE fusions in the game right now. I would advise running Solar Siphon instead of Stasis Siphon, as the crystals shattering count as shatter damage, not weapon damage, meaning it's currently near impossible for Verglas to consistently make Orbs of Power. Now onto this season's elephant in the room, the Immortal. A Strand SMG that comes out of Trials of Osiris that has been ruining the Crucible. Not that the current Crucible really needed help with that, but it outperforms every weapon in the game with ease, anyway. And while Bungie is nerfing aggressive frame SMGs, and the Immortal is an aggressive frame SMG, which is also receiving a range nerf on top of the aggressive frame nerfs, I feel they are actually trying to avoid what really needs a second look. Despite having nerfed several like it in the past, target lock, which is pretty much just a better Rampage or Frenzy. On auto rifles like Perpetualis or LMGs like Retrofit Escapade or the Swarm, this perk is fine. It actually makes machine guns good. Really good, actually. But it has no place on SMGs. The small mag size mean it hits 2 and 3 times target lock before the enemy can even react. Because of this, the Immortal has a .67 TTK with some of the best range in the game, all because target lock is way too good. Not that target lock affects range, but it makes the damage ramp up ridiculous. I'm not asking for a target lock nerf, just a ban on it being put on any more SMGs, because it is not supposed to be there. It is too good. It is too spicy. And I don't feel that a range nerf is going to do a lot. But I'm sure that the stupid people who immediately dismiss any weapon because they saw a nerf will be more than enough for Bungie, as they're only doing it because Ikelos and Immortal have been in the top 10 most used weapons in PvP for a while now, and wish to reduce usage. All I see the nerfs currently for the aggressive frames and the Immortal, uh, all I see it as a diversion tactic for stupid people, and I'm sure it'll be super effective. Everyone's going to drop their Immortal, and they're going to go back to using whatever shotgun they were using previously. Seriously, pick up the Immortal Decree. It sits in the same slot. The only other thing season-wise of note is the seasonal activity, which is absolutely no fun and way longer than it should be. My immediate assumption when I saw the Awoken Queen on the box art was the weapons will be nice, but the activity will be trash. Every season thus far that showcased the Awoken has been boring garbage, all the way to the Season of the Lost, prior to the Witch Queen. The activities are always way too long, the story surrounding them has always been mid as hell, and in most cases the aesthetic for the armors and weapons were straight cheeks. Luckily, Bungie messed up and made the pay-to-win skin off the pass ugly as sin and not the seasonal activity set. Big mistake on Bungie's part, not gonna lie. I was right on everything else, though. The activity's no fun, the story's trash and cliche in a bad way, and the weapons are 50-50. They are great weapons, all of them, but I'm not a fan of the Awoken motif, and I don't think I ever will be. Shame considering I like the Dreaming City weapons look. Probably the star constellation things the Awoken weapons had back then. I think it's probably what really bothers me is the Awoken logo etched onto the side of the weapons, as well as the weird crystal stuff. I also want to put this in somewhere, but I feel the Lightfall story was crap. Absolute garbage. And I can't believe they did my boy Callus so dirty. As a huge fan of Season of Opulence, this is a travesty. Weapons from Neomuna are good, though. I'd highly advise getting them, especially the grenade launcher and the pulse rifle. Seriously, pick them up. Looking forward now, Season of the Deep is looking to be game-changing. Exotics that previously had fallen off hard are getting reworks. Weapons are getting buffs and nerfs all over. Super changes that look promising for once. And the return of Titan, which hasn't been around since I think Beyond Light. And we're going to be taking a splash into the Methane Sea, which will be interesting. A new dungeon, I think, is coming out the first week, which will be interesting. I'm hyped for a season of all things, for once. And I know it hasn't come out yet, and had to temper my expectations. But I just want the game to be as fun as it was back when Forsaken dropped. I'm still waiting on Gambit fixes, returning strikes, returning Crucible maps, or anything new, really. The three most basic activities in Destiny feel like they've been forgotten. I hate Crucible, and I loved Gambit. Hell, I had the Dredgen title like the moment it came out. But Crucible pre-sunsetting was fun, never felt stale, and Gambit is complete ass now. If they had just left Gambit like it was in Reckoning, I'd look forward to it every week, but it feels like Gambit now is just the redheaded stepchild of the activities. And it kind of kills me that Bungie is too busy milking everyone dry instead of just making the game enjoyable, but I suppose there's no reason to do that if people will play it even if it's in a really poor state, right? I'm not saying the game is bad, just lacking. I feel like it's a husk of what it was pre-sunsetting, and I don't think it has much to do with the lack of weapons. I mean, planets went missing, not just guns. Well, let's just stop there. If I continue, I'll be here all day. I look forward to Season of the Deep, I really do. But I've been playing this game long enough to know to temper my expectations. If you listen to the end, leave a like, comment if you too are a Destiny veteran player and still stuck in Forsaken, and subscribe. I'll be making videos of Season of the Deep. I'm going to try out the new dungeon when it drops, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.